Hello fellow AFL enjoyers, back with another video. We're going to be reacting to the gather round, which is pretty cool. My voice is better, by the way, so I'm back.
Matt's is back as well.
Mm-hmm.
We joked about the laid out last week, and then Chris Scott's like, no. I'll show you a laid out.
Oh, he can't help himself, bro.
Couldn't help it.
He cannot help himself.
No, welcome back, Matt. So good to have you back.
No, thank you, mate. Gather round was fun, bro.
That's what happens when you get good weather in football.
Mostly fun. There was some sad moments.
Yeah, no, you're right. There was maybe a quarter and 5 minutes.
Quarter and 5 minutes wasn't fun.
It was not fun. But the rest of it, from a neutral perspective, was excellent. Starting off with the cheeky Cats, a little bit of a upset for the South Australian locals there.
Very cheeky Cats, actually. That first goal from Tex was insane. I saw that go in. I'm like, if Tex is doing this in the first few minutes, Cats are gone.
Yeah.
And, man, to their credit, you say they're older. For me, that's just experience. I think we're seeing now, even with Collingwood, we'll get to them. There's nothing wrong with having old players. That
even
actually
Dangerfield.
Dangerfield. Nothing wrong with having old players so long as they perform and use their IQ and all their experience, which they did. So,
game. You're right. It's based on their performance and their ability. You don't want to carry players just because they've got a legacy.
No.
But if they're performing, then they're performing.
What's the thing? And look, the two experienced dudes you're talking about, right? Dangerfield and Cameron, two of them, they scored more goals between them than Fogarty, Walker and Thilthorpe. Yep. And all we've been talking about is those Adelaide key forwards. All of a sudden, Dangerfield's becoming a forward. Cameron, he hasn't really changed. I feel like he's probably been a little bit off this season, but, he still provides the goods, man. So, and then on top of that, some of the smaller guys, Close and Dempsey getting 2 goals each as well. That forward line's looking pretty potent too.
Yeah, I mean, that second half from Geelong, just the ability to score off turnover and just to be so potent up forward is crazy. I mean, no team lowers the eyes better than Geelong, but anytime that they went in and kicked to a one-on-one contest or kicked to space, they just scored. It's just so prolific, man. It's amazing to watch.
Well, the thing is, you say as well, like Cameron, he hasn't been his absolute best, but also in what I've seen, he hasn't been playing the same exact role every week. And I think that's one thing really annoys me, but I also am very jealous of with Geelong in particular, is they don't play the same players in the same positions too often. Like there's the couple core guys that's like, Brad Close, he can only do a certain amount of things. But guys like Danger, Cameron, the defenders like DeConning, Blitzarves, you don't know where they're going to play. Atkins 2 weeks he's on ball, then he's half back for 3 weeks. You can't really you can't plan for that because you don't actually 100% know. But Jack Bowes, you don't know where these guys are playing. So for me, that just says like they're so unpredictable. And then there will be weeks where they get it wrong, like a couple bad weeks in a row for them. But then out of nowhere, you just write them off, and they're like, no, you're writing us off. It's like they just feed off of it. And you could see like in the emotion of Danger and Cameron specifically after the game, they were like, it was a prelim. Unreal reaction from them. So, fair play, man.
Yeah, 100%. Well, look, now, we're going to talk about, the two midfielders that they have now that are the mainstays in the guts, Holmes and Bailey Smith. Such a dynamic team, man.
Yeah, 100%.
And like Holmes, I think this game sort of like showed that when you don't give him attention, because they didn't give him attention, 2 of the 4 games prior to this, he was tagged and he got, neutralized a little bit. The other 3 games, he's been huge. So look, man, like he's got to be tagged every week for mine. Yeah, to be honest,
he's an absolute weapon.
It's hard to tag a halfback though, because that halfback, it's a different game.
Oh, look, he started at halfback, but he's been playing a lot of midfield as well. Like
what I'm saying is, if you tag him in the middle, he'll move to halfback.
That's the thing,
and then it's a different game, a different way to tag a halfback than a mid.
Yeah, true.
So, I agree, teams should do it, but I don't think it'll really change his output too much or the team's performance.
No, that's fair.
So it's a bit of an awkward one.
Well, look, there's other options. Even if he's not the damagey one and you take him out, you still got Bailey Smith. You still have...
Correct.
The laid out they had Tom Stewart. If you talk about versatility, he's played in the midfield as well.
Yeah, exactly right. True.
That's because that could be the most predictable thing. We all know he's a great third man up, reads the game better than most. You could easily just stick him in that role. But then what happened a few years ago? Teams started tagging him as the loose. So now they're like, okay, he's an on-baller now.
Yeah.
And then he'll go loose when you don't expect it.
Yeah.
So what do? It's a real testament to them, and that's why I think Matt's call of them finishing first. They might not finish first. They might not finish even top 4. But come finals, like last year, they were a kick away from a grand final again. And I would back them in to have a similar impact.
Well, part of my reasoning, was weak reasoning, but it was still, how can we doubt these guys, man?
Yeah,
they're just such, like we said, experience. They've got it.
If they finish 6th, then they're playing a team that's finished 7th. you're probably backing him in to win, and then you back him in the next round as well. So anyway,
100%.
now credit to them. Crows, look, tough loss last week, and they come in this week, home crowd, they start hot.
When what was it, 37 points, 39 points up?
Correct. I mean, we can credit the Cats as much as we want, but that last quarter in particular, they were rattled.
100%.
The amount of turnovers, trying to pull off risky kicks, just not working.
They just couldn't move the ball forward, so they had to force it, and then Geelong just got killed off the turnover.
They feasted on it, yep.
Yeah, no, true. And I feel like the commentators, they went in on Hinge, kind of deservedly so. He didn't have a good game distributing off halfback. It doesn't help their cause at all. So, but no.
I think Adelaide's obviously had a great start to the year, a bit hyped, but they've lost the last 2 games now, and I think they're probably... that top 4, they've probably moved themselves into the rankings a little bit to the 5th to 8th position now because of these 2 losses.
Well, look, it means they have to beat one of those top tier teams now. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Suns and Cats, you could consider them part of that top echelon. You know, they've got to beat someone like the Pies, or they've got to beat someone like the Hawks.
Funny you mention, we'll get to it later, but they're playing the Giants this week.
Oh, well, there you go. There's the other one.
So
there's the other one in the top echelon.
We'll give some thoughts on that later, but I actually agree with you. It's quickly becoming in danger of them falling into that purgatory range, which you don't want to be in.
Look, I can't see them going like below, you know, 8th, 9th.
Yeah, neither can I.
Like, I think they're still going to be. They're not going to be in that middle range. I don't think.
But when you're thereabouts, it's more than just the results we can make out. It's a bit of a mental game to get to the end of the year, rack up enough wins. They're a bit untested. So they've got to be careful not to even play that game. You don't want to be amongst it. Because then you could lose a bit of form at the wrong time, a few injuries, and then all of a sudden, you know, you go from having a 4-2 record to 4-4. You're in a bit of trouble.
Just goes to show how important or unfortunate that loss was last week to Gold Coast. Those type of swings and roundabouts has such an impact on a tight season.
Correct.
100%. Well, look, and you have like just the game below them is Sydney. Another team, Port Adelaide, starting to look better. Bulldogs, you know, they've got injuries and they're still looking good. So, you know, there's plenty of teams chomping at the bit to get into those spots. So, yeah, so it's interesting.
They only scored 4 goals in the second half as well.
Yeah, that's
so for a team that's just been known for their scoring, I mean, they still put up 100 points, but when it's only 4 in the second half, that was a massive drop off. And yeah, Cats just nullified him to the point. Yeah, like I said at the end, it was just turnover city for them. They couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah. I guess it sucks for them that the next that they have GWS, it's hard to bounce back. And then the week after, Freo at Optus. That's a tough run.
I'm saying. So like
then,
it goes from,
they're going to get an easy win against Carlton at Adelaide Oval.
Well, this is the thing. Like we probably back them in against Freo potentially, but at that point, Freo, they're known to have really high ups and some low downs. So if they're in a good space, then that's hard to beat them in Perth.
Yeah, no, it is
so
tough.
You know, if you lose next week, it's all of a sudden like shit. Where's their good record gone?
Yeah, true.
And we still consider them a good team, but it's like the record speaks for itself.
That's the thing. Yeah.
But no, I don't think they should panic. But
I think they're missing Rochelle a bit. I mean, we know that Adelaide's got a potent attack, but I think they've done most of their damage out of their tools this year. And I think having that small forward that can kick a couple of goals, Keys is producing ridiculous. Like, I don't think Keys has had a season started this good, but I think someone like Rochelle adds to it that I think they're missing him a bit.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Move on to another game with 2 excellent teams as well. Like, Matt, I've got to say a shout out to the AFL for organising, the gather round like this. They had 2 bangers to start us off, man. But in this case, Dacos shaked off the tag of Jordan. He dominated. Side bottom all of a sudden, and Ned Long. What a weird midfield, bro. What a weird midfield that's, dominating.
Very unorthodox. I was going to say, actually, my first thing was side bottom has me in awe. This guy, man, like, of all the vets on that Collingwood team, he would be the one I'd think, this is the year he's just going to fizzle out. This is surely. Like, we know Pendlebury's got that extra class. Side bottom's got a lot of class as well, but something's in this guy this year, man. Like, I need him tested for like whatever the Bombers were on a few years ago. Like, test him for that stuff. This guy is playing out of his mind, and he's doing it with a smile. I said it last week. He's smiling out there. He's taking the piss. It's unreal. Credit to him, man.
There's not many. I feel like apart from like the very, very, like, I guess maybe I'm disrespecting him, but I'm thinking like in other sports, right? I'm thinking LeBron James, old, playing like that, but he's the GOAT. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think like Chris Paul. Could you compare him to Chris Paul?
He's just running the show, and he's doing these like every week. I'm just noticing him doing like tunnel handballs off the ground, bouncing it perfectly to space. Like the IQ, off the charts.
Mm.
And the skill execution to the point where that, like, you're overplaying him, and it happened against Carlton last week. You overplay him, and then he just walks around you. It makes you look silly.
Yeah, nah, it's
Crazy.
He's been insanely clean around the ball. And I think Collingwood last 2 weeks have been super clean. And this was a really impressive performance against Sydney because Sydney's still a good team.
Yeah.
But I think the Pies, they just destroyed them, man. The scoreline wasn't insane. But if it wasn't for Isaac Heaney, I think that scoreline would have been a lot bloodier. Because Heaney was playing out of his mind. That guy's an absolute freak. But he was a sole man up against a whole Collingwood team that was really well structured. And what was interesting about the way that Collingwood set up is they just did not allow Sydney the centre of the field. So
yes, no, I noticed that. Like, because I was at one stage, they should have showed the behind angle of what, I don't know, I can't remember what player it was at the time, of, you know, where he's going to go. And it was just literally, it felt like every Collingwood player on the field was in the centre square.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
So they're forcing Sydney down the line, and Sydney has no talls, and Amadi goes down early in the game as well. So they just got no tall representation up against a Collingwood ruck that's the number 1 intercept marker in the competition, right? And
Spoken by yours truly last week.
What I'm saying is they had no avenue to attack.
Yeah.
And a Sydney team that can cut through you and skills, it doesn't really work when there's no options in the corridor. And when they did get the option, they'd score.
Yeah.
It just they just didn't get it. So it's really disciplined performance. It was a really strong performance in the midfield. And Collingwood, like I thought, even Darcy Moore, he's kind of back to his best. He's had a good start to the season. And like Bobby Hill, when he pops up and he plays like that, he's crazy.
Yeah.
So, man, Collingwood look potent, huh?
It's a sign of a good team as well when you can look at your opposition and adjust your game plan, because it's so easy for, like, teams in the bottom half of the ladder will try and really enforce their game style, and that's about it. Like, they've got one way of defending, one way of attacking, hence their records are poor, because you can easily adjust to it when you're a good team. Case in point, last week, Clarko said after we lost to the Swans, like, we know how good they are in the corridor. They'll kill you there. They killed us tonight. We couldn't sustain it, da-da-da. And a lot of North fans were saying, like, if you know that they're a good corridor team, why don't you do something like that? Case in point, McRae's watched that, like, okay, here's the tape on the Swans, everyone in the middle, and a good team's able to adjust their strategy and do that, and then look at the result. So
that's
and
it's not like they don't have the experience, one of the oldest teams in history.
That's what I'm saying. So
to be able to go, hey, guys, stand there.
Correct. And I quite like what McStay brought as well. He was a good target for them.
Yeah. Even having someone like Membry, like, you don't associate talls with Collingwood, but, you know, McStay's definitely standing up, Membry standing up.
And Myercheck as well. All of them just marking targets.
Yeah.
Which, look, it's huge. It's huge in the modern game. You know what I mean? You don't need your key forward to be the absolute star, but if they're at least doing that, you know, they're giving you that aerial presence, they're bringing it down, because the smalls are good in Elliott and Hill.
Smalls are very good, but also I kind of feel like with the ball movement happening and how fast the game is played, if you can isolate your forwards, then, you know, you're getting a lot of return, because I feel like a lot of forwards in each teams are dominating this year. Like, there's just a lot of forwards that are in the best career best form. So,
you know,
if you've got the ability to kind of get to them, they're going to punish you. And I feel like we're seeing that across the league.
I'm going to back up what you were talking about in regards to the marking, right? How many contested marks do you reckon Sydney had?
3.
Dino?
I'll go 5.
1.
Shit.
So I'm looking at. So I've just gone contested marks. The players who had the most, and the only Sydney player that pops up is Grundy with 1, whereas McStay, Membry, and Myercheck had 2 each.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a few other dudes, Frampton, Long, and Maynard.
It can be quite a simple game sometimes.
That game plan looked very simple, and then because Collingwood had the class to execute, they just looked on top of him. I'm telling you, it was individual brilliance from Heaney to pull them. You know, a couple of goals. Like, he had 8 clearances, 2 goals. Like, that's a massive performance from a midfielder. But no one else really went with him.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And Chad Warner's not playing to the same extent. They don't have Errol Goulden, so they don't have like their 3 best superstars firing.
Yeah, Mills, they'd, you know, projected him as being the, you know, another centre bounce midfielder. Hasn't happened.
They've got, like, they couldn't throw someone like a Papley in the midfield because he's not there.
Yeah, true.
So their absolute top star power isn't there. And yeah, it looked like it was just a one-man show.
Are they screaming out for Logan McDonald to come back in? You know, does he come back in, give him a bit of marking presence?
Is he injured or was he?
I think he's been VFL, to be honest with you. I don't know if he's been.
Surely he hasn't been VFL.
No,
I think this week he was. This week he was.
So maybe it was a return from injury. I'm not too sure, but, you know, maybe that's the guy that needs to come in.
Last week he was too. Sorry, because last week North played them and he was there.
Yeah, so I don't know. Is he out of favour? They prefer to play Laddams. Like, that's bad, man.
Yeah, Laddams not good.
Yeah, you know. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. to see if they if they bring him in. I think they have to be honest with you. But yeah, no. Do we move on to our game?
Yeah, let's
Dana?
move on.
Look, thank you for taking taking sole responsibility of the North talk last week, because that was a harsh one, to be honest with you. That was I didn't really want to sit and talk about.
You
that
can
one.
go first today, then.
Yeah, look, what I will say with this game is I felt really good and really excited up until maybe the last 5 minutes of the third quarter, and I was really angry at the time. But honestly, when I think about it, I go back to what Clarko says. It's like we want to be in games for longer. In this case, we're going against Gold Coast in conditions that might suit them a little bit better because it's hotter and that's what they're used to, you'd think. We held our own until that part of the game. And I think up until that part of the game, 5 minutes before the 3/4 time, I reckon they had the rub of the green on the umpires as well. Honestly, I know that's probably just me being a one-eyed North supporter, but that's just what I feel from the game watching. But after that, they kick the first goal in the fourth quarter, right? Gold Coast. We kick another one, right? We kick the next one, I think, and then Jai Simpkin has the ball, about to kick it into the 50, kicks it into the man on the mark, and then everything died from there. Everything died. It just went all downhill. It was like last week. All over again, basically. So yeah, that's a very disappointing way to finish the game. It's
It's I've been listening to a lot of different podcasts and reading a lot, because when you have a performance like this, like you said, it was actually a half decent performance. Actually, quite a good performance, you could say, for 3.5 quarters.
Yeah.
But then you look at the margin and you see how the game got out of hand. And then that's a whole different opposite emotion.
Exactly.
And I just didn't know. I usually read and listen more when I don't know how to feel. And I've read and listened a lot, like I said. And I think I've just come to the conclusion, and it's kind of poetic, because today Harry Sheasel did an interview at the Children's Hospital. And he basically just said, success isn't linear. We know it's not linear.
Oh, that's one of my favorite quotes.
It's a great quote, and legit. I know this, and I know North's success isn't going to be linear. I and you and a lot of North fans had hope that it would be a very big jump this year to sort of that middle-ish of the pack. And I still think that's possible. And I do think we're a better team than last year, 100%. But does that just mean because we're tired of losing that you just go into a game and you're winning it, you win it? Success maybe isn't even linear within a game.
Yeah.
So that's just sort of where I'm at right now, is I'm as pissed as any North fan at the way that game ended. It was disgraceful. But I'm also like, you know what? We're scoring goals. We're averaging, from last year, we're averaging 67 points a game, I believe. This year, I don't know the exact number, but it's easily more than that.
Yeah, it must be at least 80, 85.
Correct.
Least,
so
right?
I'm looking at that. I'm thinking, okay, we're clearly improving. We are in games for longer. North fans, a lot that I see online, hate referencing that Clarko quote, we want to be in games for longer, push games deeper. But the reality is, when success isn't linear, that's a realistic short-term goal. To try and be in the game. And if you catch, for example, Carlton on an off day next week, can you win it? Yeah, you can.
Yeah, 100%.
If you catch them at their best, maybe you can't hang with them the whole time. And that's okay as well, in my opinion. Now, again, I'm just as disappointed. I thought we were better, even better than we have shown in the improvement already. But I'm sort of just a bit less angry than most North fans. And I think you're in the same boat by the sounds of it. What's the point of being angry at a team who's not complete, who's still so young, and he's improving? This isn't the time for my ultimate anger. The ultimate anger was in the years past.
Yeah.
We're the pit's gone now. We're digging out. We're clawing out of it. And some days are better than others. So I wrote a lot of notes, but that's kind of the ins and outs of it all.
Yeah. One thing I will say as well, we were talking about it a little bit pre-pod, LDU. Were people talking about, oh, he didn't do enough, he only had one disposal in the last
classic,
quarter?
I think it was Luke Hodge. Classic, typical conventional media. We would get roasted if he didn't sign.
Yeah.
You sign him, and then he plays a very good game for the most part. He had a quiet last quarter like the whole team did.
Yeah.
And he's getting questioned oh, you shouldn't be paying players that much. I don't know if he's good enough. Luke Hodge, shut the hell up, man.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I agree.
I love you as a player, but come on, that's a shit take.
That's some Kane Corns type shit. You know what I mean? He's just trying to, be a bit controversial. And honestly, in the middle of that game, and especially had we had won the game, right, LDU would have been said he's the best midfielder on the ground right now, even above Raul.
Yeah.
I honestly thought, up until where we fell off, I'm watching this game. I'm like, we just re-signed this guy for 7 years, and he's the best midfielder on the ground right now. That was my honest thoughts before it went all downhill. After that, you just kind of go, whatever.
And this
right?
is the thing,
But, I still got to remember there was a point in that game where I'm like, LDU's the man.
Yeah, and it is down to him as one of the experienced players to be better in those moments for sure. I'm not excusing him, but yeah, that's a different conversation entirely. Like, why does the North team get overrun like that? Why can't we stop the rut? There's a whole conversation to be had there. I don't even know all the answers, but I'm not looking at the explosive, attacking-minded midfielder as the answer to that. He's part of the problem, the part of the midfield group that's getting overrun, but you can't undervalue what he does in those moments where he's maybe not the best.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's just short-sighted. But anyway, some other positives. Paul Curtis, career best year. Georgie loves it on his draft as well. Draft team.
Yeah.
I love seeing Dersma back out there. People forget this kid's very talented. Yeah. Doesn't need much of the ball to have an impact.
It was a shame when he dropped that mark. That was a bit annoying. But then he made it up and kicked 2 goals and, finds himself in the right spots. He can play.
Yeah.
He can play.
Sherry's playing, it seems, with one leg, and the umpires call. And this is the thing you were probably alluding to before. How many times are we going to see a ruck contest and the whistle blows and the ruckmen don't even know what the hell's going on? Yeah. The game stops and then one midfielder runs with the ball into the 50 just by chance, hoping that it's their ball. It's like, oh yeah, Matty, well, it actually was your ball. And then you've conceded a goal or something.
Yeah.
Like, I think in those moments, like, surely you can't pay advantage when no one knows what's going on.
Yeah, no, exactly right.
Like, come on.
Because it's like, you hear the whistle and then all of a sudden the natural tendency is to stop. And in a midfield contest, in a stoppage, 1 second is all you need to be out.
I think that's a genuine rule adjustment that no one will complain about. Is like, for the centre bounce, if there's an infringement, do not allow advantage. That is ridiculous, man.
Especially if you blow the whistle as well.
Yeah.
If the whistle's blown,
that's the only time of the game where there's a set amount of players per position. So when you're letting advantage in that moment, you're literally kicking it into an open 50. You can't. For me, that's a joke. And I don't know. There seems to be an agenda against Sherry, because last week as well, it happened like 3 times in the first half.
No, it was weird. All of a sudden, Grundy's looking like this beast ruckman.
He's getting all these calls, and then this week it happened again. I'm just thinking, like, is he actually doing something wrong? But no one can explain to me what it is. So I'll have to assume, based on not seeing it last year, that they're just adjudicating him more harshly for some reason. But anyway,
anti-Sherry agenda. They don't want him to be all Australian.
Correct. Anyway, we've spoken enough. Georgie, Suns, any thoughts on them?
I didn't watch it because Carlton was playing. The only thing I kind of noticed was 141 is a massive score. And we know the Suns are extremely potent at the moment, so I'm not surprised that they can pack it on. Just the other thing I noticed is, other than the win that you had against North, every one of your opponents has been able to kick over 100 points. So I think the defensive is one thing that North has to work on, which is fair enough. But yeah, I mean, the Suns are...
Did you say North's win against North?
Against Melbourne.
Sorry, I had to bring it up. It just sounded funny. It's a fair call. That's a fair call.
There's one more thing I just wanted to add on the Suns there. So they've beaten us, Melbourne, West Coast, and the Crows by that controversial late call.
Yeah.
So they're 4-0, but I don't know, there's a bit of talk online, like, has the AFL given them
they always do.
Bit of the red carpet treatment.
Yeah.
To start the season. I mean, you couldn't have known the Melbourne one to be so bad. But other than that,
the only difference is I feel like they're a completely different team than they used to be.
No, they are better.
They are better.
What I'm trying to say is, I think the AFL is giving them a bit of that treatment.
They've been given handouts for 10 years, man. It's about time to make use of it.
There's another one.
They're giving random people like Gold Coast kits, and there's people like, they'll just have people in the crowd and they'll be like,
mate, some of those Gold Coast fans, take the tag off the hat, mate. At least try and pretend like you bought it.
Exactly. Like, come on, man. It's that was getting.
I think they are better, but the record's flattering them at the moment. It'll be interesting to see in a few weeks. They've got Brisbane. If they can hang with them, that'll be the game I'm looking out for.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to say, how do we get some of that free Gold Coast merch though? By the way, AFL, hit us up.
You just sponsor us, man.
I think you just go to the game and they just give you it on the way in.
We'll suss it out.
That New Jersey's pretty cool though. I'd take that.
I don't mind
it. Could hang one of those up here.
I think every pink jersey at the back. Yeah, there we go.
Personally, I think every team should have a gather round jersey.
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't. It's free money anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%. You're just printing. You are printing money. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll jump into,
the baggers are back, baby.
Mate. Dominance.
I'm not going to talk too much about this game because, to be honest, if there's one game of the season, there's not much to say. It's this one. So, look, it's one of those games where Carlton can't really win, because if they win, they're still 1-4, and if they lose, the whole club needs to get blown up. But no one expected us to lose that game, and it's only because West Coast are just so bad. It's unbelievable, and I'm not even saying that disrespectfully. They are just absolutely horrific, and they recorded the lowest contested possessions in a game ever.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
Ever.
That's insane.
Can I just make a call?
Yeah.
My theory on it, and I think this is well backed up by their form in patches last year, at least as bad as they were. It's the Elliot Yeo effect. When this guy's not in there, they've got nothing on ball.
Nothing, man. But I looked at the injury list to see who they've got to come back, right? Elliot Yeo, and Dom Sheed's got an ACL, so he's out for the season, and McGovern. So Yeo and McGovern are good players that are in their 30s, and that's the only people that they can pull on to make a difference to this team.
I feel like, they're the only sort of dudes who can actually cause wins. You know what I mean? Just on their own.
They're not going to cause wins, bro. They're going to cause them to lose by 50 points instead of 100.
That's fair.
I agree with you, but there was times last year where they were in,
Yeah.
like with Reed, Yeo on ball,
Yeah.
a bit of Kelly action. Like, where's that
and
team?
Kelly as well.
Where's that team? So Kelly's dropped out of form, out of love with the game. His words. Yo's out. Injury history anyway. We can't really rely on him. Reed just looks like...
Well, he's not playing in the midfield.
Well,
They're playing
Reed-
him in defence.
Yeah, and
He's
it's because-
taking kick-ins.
Yeah. And that just looks to me, and this is from personal experience, that looks like Juan Francis at North when they were losing and he didn't want to be there. And I'm not even trying to add to that narrative because I think he should do what he wants, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever. But that's just literally what it looks like.
Look, the problem is they've been down for a while. They've been down now for like 4 or 5 years, right? I feel like they have.
Yeah, it's probably 4.
But where's their way out, man? The Tigers have a way out. You can already see the way they're going to play. They're already blooding their youngsters. You guys, you got high draft picks that are showing something. What do West Coast have?
Yeah, there's not much, man.
They got
There
Harley
isn't
Reid, and they got a captain that's meeting with Sam Mitchell. like,
Yeah,
I'm not trying to like dig in. I'm just bewildered.
You
but
called this a few
I was
weeks ago,
watching
yeah.
this. I was watching this game, man, and it was like 2 teams got together to play a friendly match, and no one wanted to get injured, and it was a bit too hot, so they gave up at halftime. Like it was,
Like 2 weeks ago, you went in on their list and you're just back for more.
bro, it's atrocious, man.
It is a bad list, man.
It is.
It's a bad
If I
list.
could swear on this podcast, it's just pathetic, man.
Yeah.
We don't want to get demonetized, man.
Yeah, no. We're only allowed to say shit, all right?
Yeah.
No,
Man, they're shit.
no F-bombs.
They're shit
man.
bad.
But, anyway, yeah, no, look, you said that they went in trying not to get injuries, yet you guys did lose 2 key forwards
Yeah.
in the game, and that sucks. Look, shout out Brody Kemp, man. He actually was looking okay.
Shout
Getting
out
a
Brody
few
Kemp.
goals and
I didn't check the injury. I don't know if he's got an Achilles or not, but suspected Achilles.
Yeah. So
And Harry out for a couple of weeks with mental health, comes back in, gets smashed in the head, gone again next week.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
He's had a shocking year.
Yeah,
Um,
it sucks, man.
Look, I won't talk about how the game was played because, yeah, as I said, it was such a non-existent, just irrelevant game of football, and Carlton just had over 70 inside 50s, crucified them in the midfield. But really, any other team, like if you put a Geelong up against a West Coast that put up that effort, they would have kicked 200 points. Like the fact that Carlton, how many, 19 points or something, so
They
inefficient.
took a while to get going and
So inefficient
realise,
in the forward 50, missing basic passes. Like, it was actually frustrating. All right, 71 points. It's irrelevant, man. Watch that game and tell me that Carlton played well.
yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's hard to get too
Anyway,
excited.
it's not
Yeah.
it's not relevant because every team's going to win against these guys. It's what happens next. Yes, Carlton gets the win. Hopefully, they get some confidence. You saw Sam Walsh get to play his game, running game, kick some goals, get into some form. Nice. Let's see what they do next week. That's the only. It means nothing at the moment. It's just like a dot, and you move on.
We'll preview the game next week, and I say this as someone not confident in North right now, in totality, but it is a bit of a banana skin game against North. I would think that if I was a Carlton
Well, it's
fan,
not. It's not. I wouldn't even call it banana skin. We've done nothing this year. We're one of the worst teams in the comp.
yeah, I guess so. Actually, there was one moment I wanted to point out because, like you, I couldn't watch the other game because I was watching North instead. But I saw one clip of Cripper marking it in the square, getting a free kick, and there was no one manning the mark,
Yeah,
and he just ran through.
man. I've never seen a more disinterested team.
Yeah,
Like, yes, Eagles are terrible, but
that's bad.
you know that they can play. Any team that just brings intense effort will always be able to find a way to stay in a game to some extent. You saw that the Eagles put up like the first 5 goals against Brisbane a couple of weeks ago. Like, they're still human beings playing football on the same field. This was just it was just terrible, man. And Carlton just didn't have the forward half class to capitalize. but they should have won by 150 points, and I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
So, anyway, just whatever game, we move on. I don't even want to talk about it. It's just we move on.
Yeah, no, look, I think just a quick one. You mentioned it. Oscar Allen talking with Hawthorn, and then Tim Kelly disinterested in footy. How can anyone else be interested? Like the young guys. Like I'm 18, 19 years old. Like these are these are the two of the top 5 players. Like what? Like it makes sense that they're this bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll move into the next game. What was
Dogs Brisbane.
Dogs Brizzy. Yeah, that was an interesting game, man. That was interesting. The doggies. They were looking alright, doggies, man. They started off quite well, but they just Brizzy are just a good team, bro.
They only have to play a half of football to beat anyone.
Yeah, it's insane.
The Lions are just playing games with the opposition. They just toy with them like a.
What do you think these slow starts are like? What is?
It's just a
going on?
lion, and this is a part.
Oh, he's about to play like a jungle.
Pardon the whatever the quote or misdirection of this statement, but they're just toying with their prey,
Yeah,
like a lion does.
It's literally look, I've seen because I've had a couple cats. They literally will have a mouse that is at their mercy.
Correct.
And they'll whack it a little bit. They'll have it in their mouth. They'll drop it, and then the mouse will try to run away, and then they'll just go and get it again.
And this is the thing,
and it's literally, you're right. They're just playing with their food.
It's that, and it's also I think at that point where they start to try, the other team's looking at a big scary lion like. I'm scared. Let's just get out of here.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
deer in headlights.
It's a bit of it's a bit of aura at the moment. It's aura and experience and just okay. We'll do this one adjustment and it'll be a 10-goal turnaround.
I love when they turn that around though. It's awesome to watch.
Nothing more fun in footy than a comeback like that.
Yeah.
Can I actually? I've got to give you guys, like a little bit of a. I need to blast you guys like Fags did to them at halftime, right? You guys were talking about their key forwards last week.
Well, hang on.
You guys were talking about their key
Don't
forwards.
say
last
you
week.
guys. Don't say you guys.
No, yous were
No,
both.
it was just Dean. It was just Dean saying.
No, look, I think you started it.
No way, bro.
Dino talked about. We're going to go in on Dino. Dino's talking about how their key forwards are not it, and I'm
You knew this was
with
coming,
no
yeah?
voice.
You knew this was
Of
coming.
course you
Hang
did.
on.
With no voice, I could hardly talk. I'm like, Logan Morris is good. I'm trying to say Logan Morris is good. He was good, and then Eric Hipwood has a Joe Danaher second half.
Hang on a
but
second.
that's
insane.
That's Hipwood's only good game this year. He
Hang on
does
a
this
second.
one game.
Look, it's probably his best game of his career.
Yeah.
But like,
Best half of his career.
hang on.
the timing is crazy.
Hang on. In my defense, you're laid out on the pod here in my rearview mirrors with a lost voice. And I happen to forget the name Logan Morris of all people. And I have to get interrupted by no voice Matto in the background.
You needed to get interrupted,
People
bro.
on the pod couldn't hear. Like this guy was screaming, but you don't pick it up on the mic. He was doing the monkey dance. He was riding like Logan Morris in like.
You think I forgot to
texture in
say
the
Jonathan
kitchen.
Brown the way this guy was reacting on
Yeah.
Bro,
camera.
Logan Morris can play, bro. He's good.
Look,
Logan Morris good.
he's very good, but he's young, right? He's not established yet. But
Yeah.
he's a very good player.
But Eric Hipwood, that's like if you need a player to galvanize your team, like I think he's almost the perfect guy because he's the dude he's kind of shit. You know what I mean? But if that dude's scoring goals and killing it, it's entertaining, bro.
That's
It's
what I'm
like
saying.
you know what it is, right? And I'm gonna bring this back to the futsal days, right? I reckon I scored 3 goals in my career, right? I played for like 5 years, bro. It's like when I would score a goal, right? And everyone would come around me because everyone knows that I don't score very often. I feel like his performance was kind of like that, where they're like, "Oh, mate, Hipwood's got us."
They know if like it's like in the finals last year where he scored that madness goal from the boundary. I can't remember who it was against. Was it the Geelong game or?
I can't remember.
It was in the final. No, it was in the granny. He kicked that weird like banana or something, right? And that's probably the point of the game where Swans are like, we're getting smashed today. if he's doing that, and no offense to the guy, like he's obviously made a good career of himself, premiership player, but he's that kind of guy where like when the party's getting started and he's getting in on the action, it's game over for you.
But when he's on, he looks so good when he's on the run though.
He does.
Oh, he does.
He
Hey,
just doesn't do it often.
yeah, no, like there was the goal that he scored where he put the pressure on the kick in as well, and that like, he went in, he spoiled on the kick in, like he was just doing everything that a key forward needs to do, man. It was fantastic.
What about your boy Georgie? Hugh McLuggage.
There's an argument to say he's the best midfielder in the competition at the right.
Brownlow favourite, perhaps?
I don't know if he will score Brownlow votes, but I don't think there's anyone been more damaging than him. He's incredible.
Maybe coaches.
Yeah, maybe coaches.
Yeah, you have some votes on that one, don't you?
Well, McCluggage is always high in the coaches' votes, no matter what the year.
He might win it this year.
I'd love to see that, man.
No, that's fair, man. That's fair. Like he's the highest averaging Supercoach player right now.
Yeah.
Insane. Yeah. I can't get. I'm gonna open it up in a sec.
Just with the Dogs, I mean, we're kind of positive about them a couple of weeks ago, but now they managed to find themselves at a 2-3 record. It's not terrible, but
I think without Bonner and Trelaw, they can be pretty proud of the way they excuse me, going about games.
yeah.
Ones like this though, and this is the thing, probably great timing that this game happened right when I was pissed off at North Melbourne giving away that lead, because I'm like, if the Dogs, who are clearly a better team than North, a final side last year, can be winning so big and then lose by quite a bit, anything goes in this game. It's so much a momentum game,
It
and
is.
there's
I
a
mean,
lot
even
of
the last game of the round had that.
correct, and there's a lot of points being scored per game. I think the attacking footballs, like you said, the forwards are getting in on a lot of action this year. So I think they were just a victim of momentum and the better team just overrunning them. But I also should, personally, I'm looking at them like, considering the outs they've got to the key players, I'm pretty bullish about them this year if they can get it all together at the right time.
Look, yeah, all of a sudden, you know, you get Bonts into that midfield. He can win clearances on his own, and then he can kick it. Instead of everyone trying to get it to Darcy, when he gets it to Darcy, it's going to be quicker. You know what I mean? So I feel like when he, you know, is in a clearance, he can just, you know, the speed of the game just increases with, you know, with him in
And
there.
he's probably he could be back this week even.
Yeah, so, you know, and will he be as good straight away? Who knows? But it's actually, now that I think about it, it's kind of sick. We've got him coming back. Butters is back. It's nice to have the best mids in the game back
It's
in.
taken a month or so, but we're back.
Yeah,
Yep.
and we're still waiting on, Trelaw and Goulden. So, but no, it is nice to get those guns in because, like, well, I feel like I always bring up the NBA. The NBA, half the year, like, I feel like all the good players are out.
You know,
You
the
know what I
NBA
mean?
has gone soft, mate.
It has, like, you know. Whereas at least with footy, man, like, we want to see the stars of the.
You got Luke Parker playing with a broken rib, apparently. NBA players are like pinky soreness. Like, get out of here, man.
Sprained toe.
Getting
Like,
paid
get
30
outta here.
million a year. Get out of here, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But yeah,
Anyway.
no, look, no, I feel like consensus on the doggies there. They're doing okay. It's a shame. It's just a shame, you know, the outs that they've had, and you know, they've given a bit of opportunity to see some young guys as well, like Dolan, Davidson, Cooper Hines. Didn't really have the best debut. Cooper Hines didn't get involved that much, but you know, I feel like those three dudes, they drafted them. Those are the types of players that they need, you know, around the stars, you know, guys that are, you know, those type of positions, the half forward positions, the wing. I feel like, you know,
the role players, the high end role players.
High-end role players at, you know, the later part of the first round and early second. I feel like they did really well with those type of guys.
Yep.
Even though it's early days.
Agreed, man. Next game, and I brought up Melbourne stats last week, about their scores this year and how poor they are at scoring. And again this week, 57 points on the board, and they won the inside 50 count.
Yeah, well, that's standard Melbourne.
Yeah,
Unreal.
That's insane, man. That is insane. Like the sadness after the game, and like I don't know. I feel like one of you guys has mentioned this in the last few pods, but like the fact that like they have the cameras in there and they're showing these dudes, it's as if like they've just been to a funeral. You know what I mean? Like these dudes are just somber.
And it's the experienced guys, like even Gawn. I think I mentioned it last week or the week before. When Max Gawn, who's the rock of the club, is also joining in on that attitude of just being sad after. I know they're going to be sad, but like it's extra. Like something's way off, sort of thing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now I'm like, okay, something's definitely wrong because he's been able to hold it together somewhat in the years past. So yeah, it's a strange one, man.
Yeah.
It's a strange one.
Yeah, it's starting to make me think, mate. The Gawn versus Dacos that I'm going with on Supercoach, maybe that on its own should just, you know, make me not go with Gawn.
Yeah, I'd
you know
go
what I mean?
Dacos.
Like,
personally, I'll go Dacos.
You can't do much more.
Watch the vid and
I have
watch
seen
my
it, I've seen it,
reasoning.
I've seen it.
Watch the reasoning and give me, give me a little.
We'll talk later. Yeah.
We'll talk later. But yeah, it's disgusting at the minute for Melbourne.
Shout out the Bombers though, man.
Yeah, no, shout out
Zumi. Shout out the Bombers.
Shout out Zumi. Like, Setterfield comes back in, you know, and does a little job on Oliver, and I think he looks, you know, pretty solid in the midfield. You know, I think you could justify his selection over Tsardas at this point because it's, you know, it's a guy with a bit more experience, you know, and I think they need it when you lose Caldwell and you don't have Parrish. You know, it's a, you know, a ready-made, you know, replacement, you know, for those guys. Experienced mid. Merritt's just is he top 2, 3 mids in the comp right now? 4, 5? What do you reckon?
He's always up there.
Yeah.
You know, so he's killing it. Like, you know, I feel like there's a few. The thing that probably impresses me with like Essendon, I like some of their dudes down back, right? So I feel like Ridley missing the first few games sort of derailed any structure that they had back there. But all of a sudden, Mackay's a big body. Ridley can intercept and he's strong. Zach Reed is not a strong dude, but he's got height. He's got that, intercept ability, and, he's actually a really decent kick too. He's actually a really good ball user, Zach Reed. For a 204 centimeter guy, or whatever, he's about that. He's a very good user of it. And then they have that little bit of pace in Archie Roberts, who got the Rising Star nomination. Saad El Hawley, he's got a bit of, pace and energy as well. There's a little bit going on there with Essendon to, at least enjoy if you're a Bombers fan. So.
Yeah, I'm not that bullish on them, to be honest. I just think Melbourne are terrible.
Yeah, I'm probably with you. But at least there's some fun to be had. Caddy's fun. He did a nice little celebration.
Yeah.
The old...
There's something... the Ja Morant.
The Ja Morant. That was sick.
There's something there with the Bombers, but we said that last year, and it's the consistency, and when the going gets tough, they just continue to crumble year after year.
I don't think their makeup has changed that much. They've always had exciting players, I feel like, and they've always been able to kind of put on a bit of a show here and there, but it just never amounts to anything.
That's fair. That is fair.
I'm not saying that can't change this year, but so far from what I've seen from them this season hasn't really excited me that much.
Yeah. One thing I want to say with the Fox footy, or I think it was the Fox footy coverage, when Dersma scores a goal, you leave the camera on him until he does the celebration. Honestly, they ended up going back and showing the replay, but I'm just like, man, do you the people who, are doing the editing and this and that, do you watch footy? Do you know anything? Mm-hmm. The simple thing is, a simple one is that Dersma scores, he's going to do the arrow.
Yep.
Let him do the arrow and then show me replays.
Do the arrow, man. Do the arrow.
I know, legit, that pissed me off because I'm like, when I see Dersma score, I'm like, yeah, arrow, do the arrow, do the arrow. The kids at home, look, I guess I'm just a big kid, but the kids, the Essendon supporter kids at home are thinking, the arrow, and it doesn't come.
Or at least, at the very least, have the camera in camera action. So, show the goal, show the crowd, and have him in the corner doing his sally.
Exactly.
Something.
Look, I don't want to have to see a replay of the arrow. I want to see it live. I want to see it.
I know you've got Brad Johnson or someone, bless him, I love Brad Johnson, but he'll be like, oh look, he's gonna do it in the replay, call it because he saw it.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have to wait for the replay. We're getting check it out. Look.
Yeah, exactly. That's look, little things like that, and the Nate Caddy Ja Morant celebration. I like those little parts of the game. You know what I mean? So
bit of personality.
Exactly right. So yeah, but no, I think we can probably move on from that game. The sadness of
probably move on from this one in 30 seconons. But
yeah.
Your boy Tracy Matza.
Hey, my boy.
Didn't I say he's the best forward since Pavlich?
Look, for Freo, who's better for them, bro? What? Matt Taberner? What are you gonna? There's not much since Pav, bro. Taberner. I don't know who else have they had. Jesse Hogan, but he didn't work out for them.
Rory Lobb.
They haven't had much
smalls. They've had decent smalls over the years.
Yeah, they just haven't had. Yeah, they haven't had the luck in regards to into the big boys. But yeah, look. I'm trying to think what happened.
Tigers,
in this game. It was just,
they did what they've been doing, which is
starting pretty nice,
and then obviously fading later. That's typical of a young team.
Yeah,
probably just mainly fitness and inexperience. But now credit to the Tigers from that. I've said from the beginning of the year, is when you can see a bit of light at the end of the tunnel in a rebuild, it's actually quite fun because you can track the draft. You look forward to that. You see some sparks from your younger players. That's exciting.
They've still got Smiley and Taj Holden to come in.
Correct.
So they haven't even seen the full brigade of first rounders.
It can be a fun year for them and hopefully for them a shorter turnaround than it has been for some other teams that I'm not passionately supporting. But Freo, look, this is sort of just what they needed. They're starting to turn their season around with a few wins and then they get the easy kill.
Yeah.
Now we'll see how they go in the coming weeks when they play a few more serious sides. But good timing, good performance from Freo.
Yeah, good to see Hayden Young back as well. I think they rested him up forward quite a lot, which I thought was a bit interesting.
And they rested Luke Ryan late, took him off. So they knew what they were doing, just managed the team.
100%. And they didn't give too much time on ground to Darcy, who is on his return as well. So it's like they've gone about it, in a smart way. There was a couple little things that now that my brain's going back into the game that I enjoyed. When Voss kicked the goal and then sprinted as fast as he could. I love that, bro.
I said the other week, there's something about this guy. I remember saying that.
Yeah, he's got energy. He's got moxie, some might say. You know what I mean?
Moxie, yeah.
Yeah, so,
he's just gotten suspended for a few weeks.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, the punch. Yeah, no, fair enough. How many?
I think 3. The standard 3-weeker they're giving around these days.
That sucks for him, man. That sucks. But no, other than that, I think Brayshaw, if you're a star of the game and you're also getting 10 tackles against Richmond, I love that.
Man.
You know what I mean? That's just an energetic, just, defensively minded and offensively minded. Like they're talking about him being a two-way. They're using more NBA terminology. He's a two-way. He's a two-way. Bro.
He is a two-way.
The thing that annoys me about this, and it's nothing against Brayshaw, but if I could just talk Supercoach for 5 seconds, Matza will love it. I on
It's the best
Classic,
moment of your life.
I on Classic, for sure thought Sarong is going to be a better player. What is going on? Anyway,
Look,
Brayshaw's a freak.
if you'd watched my videos, there was an early video.
I know
that I
you
did.
brought up the form post by. I know.
Post by. He
Anyway,
averaged 10 more than him, bro. 10 more.
Anyway.
That's no fluke.
That's
bro.
my beef with Brayshaw, but he's a gun.
Yeah,
I would still take if you were to take one of those players to North Melbourne right now. Who would you take though? I still take Sarong.
I'd take Brayshaw.
You take
At
Brayshaw.
North, I'd take Brayshaw. For the-
specifically at North,
Oh, yeah,
a
fair.
defensive-minded
Yeah, yeah.
mid. If you add that with LDU and
Yep.
and Sheasel and Parker and Wardlaw, maybe that's what we're missing, because Wardlaw is kind of that guy in regards to just this desperate defending, willing to put the body on the line type of
he's
guy.
back this week, Georgie.
Is he?
Yeah, well, he did play some VFL.
Anyway.
I heard that he was hobbly on the VFL, so I don't know
Uh,
if they're going to give him another week.
Rolled his ankle. I think
Roll
he'll be
his
fine.
ankle.
Yeah,
That's
he'll
it.
be
That's
okay.
all I need
He'll
to
be
hear,
okay.
man.
Dr. Dean says he's okay.
Dr. Dino is
Daddy Dean.
Daddy Dean is confirming
Or
he's
kiss it
back in
better.
action.
Daddy Dean will kiss it better. Don't worry.
What's the next game? I reckon I don't want to talk about that one anymore.
Yeah.
Spend
Well
all the
said. St Kilda versus GWS. Now, the Saints were they were competitive. They were competitive.
I think it was
okay.
Closer game than I looked. I actually thought it was quite a high quality game of football, to be honest.
Yeah.
Saints just errors, just at moments when they needed to be cleaner that they weren't, and just got killed off the turnover.
Yeah. And look, you look at the size difference between the teams. Where they lost, or they managed Isaac Keeler, and then all of a sudden your forward line is Sharman and like who else? Mitch Owens, Mason Wood. Like it's not a particularly strong aerial. I get Sharman and Wood aren't too bad aerially, but I feel like it's a small forward line compared to like GWS in their defense being Sam Taylor, Himmelberg, Iden, just these big bodies.
Yeah.
I think they were just a bit outmatched. And even if you look at the other side of the ground, it's like their defense isn't very big, St Kilda, right? And you're versing a team with, Hogan, Stringer is a pretty big boy as well.
Riccardi.
Cadman. Look at that's a lot of size, man, and it's all mobile as well.
Funnily enough, the one who destroyed them the most was Toby Green.
Yeah.
Because all the eyes on the big boys creating a contest, and he was just mopping it all up. So
exactly right.
He's back to career best form, Toby. I think he had a really quiet year last year, but he's
Well, it's perfect. Like we just said, they've got so many weapons, and then this guy's leading the way structurally, helping them out, and then below his knees, he's just so clean. So,
100%.
I did want to just shout out, man. I called him as my All-Australian pick this year. Nazaya Wanganeen Miller.
He's almost a lock,
he's
man.
a
at this
lock.
stage.
He's a gun.
He's a lock.
He kicked 3 goals from the halfback.
I can't remember what we had. Like we were saying, like if you get it, you get 3 points or whatever. Like give me those points from now, man. Like there's no way this guy's not a first time All-Aus.
Lock it in. That video, looking back at that video, that was so fun. I really enjoyed that video.
It was fun, and I'm finding it more fun than I was right now. What a play though. Those, man, from now on, teams just simply cannot, if St Kilda marks the ball anywhere around the 50, you cannot let this guy run unopposed.
Their two most dominant players are Naz and
Sinclair.
Sinclair.
You can't let either of them receive a handball anywhere around the 50. Like, just don't do it.
Yeah, it's just, man, how can you stop two? How can you because you need your forwards to attack a little bit as well. Like, how do you stop?
You just need to be on alert and just part of your discipline. You just have to, because they're pinging them from 60. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, fair call, man.
Well, I mean, on the other side, Lockie Ash is probably having his best year as well.
Yeah,
33 possessions. He's dominating. I mean, Whitfield's no slouch.
I got to say, Lockie Ash, I dropped him in draft in a round where I needed an extra body on the field. I am burning.
And he got involved in the 3-team trade.
I know. Was he in the trade, Lockie Ash?
He was in the trade, yeah. Someone did a Matza special, pick up a free agent and then trade him on.
Oh, bro. I'm burning with the Lockie Ash, how good he's been, man. What's worse is that he's taken some, he's taken some of Whitfield's possessions, and Whitfield's my boy in Classic. Like, too many mouths to feed in the half back line. So I'm just,
Whitfield will be fine, man. I wouldn't be worried about him.
No, of course. No, Whitfield's a gun, man. But just Ash salt in the wounds for me a bit there that I dropped him. Yeah.
Anyway,
All right, we had a good game too, actually. Look at the stats. Look at him. 97 AFL fantasy. Wow. Is he a trading option?
it's a good game.
It's the best game of his career, surely.
Yeah, probably.
would
probably.
be.
He's a half decent player, man. They've just got so many dudes with,
I don't think there's anyone in their team that's bad, man.
Pretty much, man. Pretty much. Like they have, like Gruzevsky, he's playing in the VFL,
Gruzevsky.
you know what I mean? They've got Max Gruzevsky. They've got other random dudes who, a lot of other clubs will be giving time to. You know what I mean? He'd definitely be playing for St Kilda. Let's be fair. He'd be playing. Either he was replacing Caminiti in the defense, or he's replacing anyone in that forward line. You know what I mean? Like Likalia as well. Like
He's the one getting the most interest.
Yeah,
100%. I reckon he's perfect for St Kilda. To be honest with you, that's the guy that they need.
Well, they've got the money. They're offering it to everyone else. So
Exactly. It's like, can you give me some of that deconing money? You know what I mean? But yeah, look, let's move on to. For me, it was weird to say. I think it was the game of the round for me because I was so flabbergasted watching this game. I couldn't believe
those
my
anomaly
eyes.
games are always like. And funnily enough, Port. Remember last year they just panned Sydney.
Yeah, they're
It's
just
like what
They do that sometimes, man. They do. They have when they're on, they're incredible.
Funnily enough, with this game, so I was out with the family for dinner. It was Papu's 80th birthday. Shout out, Papu.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday.
Shut up, Apple.
Big 8-0.
And as you'll know, most of my family, or my brothers and my dad, are Hawthorn supporters. And they weren't watching. Probably a good thing for them. And you see, they've copped the first couple goals. You're thinking of whatever. And then my brother just looks at me at one point, around halftime. He's like, there's losing, and then, there's this. And I checked the score. I'm just like, whew, this is something. I was spewing. I missed it.
It was incredible, man.
Yeah. It was honestly and at the start of the game, right, I read a little tweet from some random dude I've never seen before, and he's like, "Oh, there's talks of Rosie playing halfback," and I'm like, huh? Is this for Supercoach purposes? Is this good or bad? And not only was it good for Supercoach purposes, it was good for Port Adelaide, man, because the drive that this guy provides in the fact that they're looking for him, he's dashing and he's kicking it well. He was taking kick-ins. He was intercepting.
Yeah,
he was taking intercept marks.
Had four intercept marks.
Yeah, how amazing.
That's three more than Sydney.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I think he played a bit of halfback in his junior career, but
He did,
it's
yeah.
crazy that Ken comes up to him, during the week and goes, "Hey mate, we're gonna check your halfback, man." And this dude, the football IQ to play the position so well after not playing it. I don't think he's played it in the entirety of his AFL career.
Man, I'm not
Unbelievable.
I'm not a chess guy. George would probably attest to this, but they've come up against an opponent. Sam Mitchell's probably thinking, I know this opening. And then he's just come out with this whack opening, changed the whole game.
They asked Sam Mitchell about it, and he said he suspected that they might do it. So
there you
it's
go.
probably not
Maybe
that
not.
crazy. But
That's BS. I call cap on that.
You
Yeah,
reckon Cook
same. What?
I don't know. Sam Mitchell's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Why would
Like
you suspect it?
That wasn't the reason. Well, maybe because they study their opponent, they know that they're not getting any drive, and that Zach Butters comes back in. That might be his explanation.
Yeah.
I think he's a perfectly natural halfback.
Oh yeah. No, this
It
is
suits
where
their
he needs
position.
to stay.
But he's
Yeah.
also, I know he still has impact moving forward, but I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't advocate for it full time. I think it's a good thing
Really?
in moments of games.
No.
I didn't watch the game, so you're probably in awe more than I am.
Yeah,
But
nah.
just theoretically, I'm
Look,
thinking,
dude, anytime you go halfback and you kick 2 goals,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You still want him because he can have big scoreboard impact. I think if it's a sacrifice to that, no, long term. But in this game, it obviously worked.
Bro,
So
in this
we'll
game it works, but I can't imagine it ever not working, to be honest
Fair,
with you.
yeah.
The way he played, and he got forward and kicked goals too. He almost had 3.
That's what I want to see. That's what I'm saying. If he's
Yeah.
kicking a couple goals or getting assists, I'm all for it.
Yeah. The thing that kind of bugged me though, for Supercoach purposes, right? He was on 145, and then they nerfed him to 137. That's because everyone was playing well. So the scaling kind of stuffed that up.
well,
But-
you're right that everyone was playing well. I mean, Butters comes back in. He's a
Unbelievable.
freak. Jason Horn-Francis the last 2 weeks, he looks like a man possessed. You can tell when this guy's on and when he isn't. And when he's on and he's playing, he's the funnest guy to watch because he's just
He
running
really
through
is.
people. He's incredible.
That's the
But-
thing. He's randomly maybe it's because he's playing with Butters. He just looks huge. You know what I mean?
I think he's just huge, man.
Yeah,
There's some big legs, dude.
yeah. So
Some serious drive.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen a half of football that precise and attacking from a team in a long time. It was just mental. They won one-on-ones everywhere. Every player was playing well. Radagalia and Ali in the back line, Lord and Georgiadis in the forward line,
That's his boy, Lord.
Mark and everything.
Who's that?
Your boy, Lord.
Lord, that's it, mate.
In the
He's
air, it's
back.
good. Pal
Yeah.
Pepper and Rolly on the ground. The midfield is dominating. It was quite special.
So
And you think to yourself, wait, Port can do this. They were top 4 team last year. They can do this. And then next week they'll probably get smashed.
Well, for me, just following it, it was Port can do this again. Okay, they're back. But it was also like, this can happen to Hawthorn. Because they've had this vibe, this aura to them. It's like, hang on, these guys are always in games. And like, we'll get to it in a moment. I don't know how serious their comeback actually was live, but I did not think they were capable of getting humiliated like that in any half of football.
Especially like the team that James Sicily said, you're a nowhere club.
Yeah.
You know, he said something, words to the effect of you're a nowhere club. That was the talks with Ken Hinkley. That's embarrassing.
I like the rivalry that's starting between these two teams. There's a bit of heat.
So tell me again, because I wasn't watching the game, was the comeback from Hawthorn at any point, was anyone actually thinking it's on?
They got to 20 points or something with 10 minutes left, man.
And then there might have been a couple goals.
It was on.
Then there was a goal by maybe Sam Palpepper, and then that was like, yeah, that's it, bro.
Then Rioli got the double.
Yeah,
Rioli kicked the goal. Then he got a push after.
The
and he
fight.
got a double goal.
Yeah, that's it. That's the
getting a double goal is the big. Who came up with that rule? You can't get a double goal.
Well, the
man.
thing to me, because I've seen that back right. Initially, I'm like, why did they give that? I mean, he obviously pushed him after he kicked it.
So
but
take it from the center square.
But he also just showed that, like, he was being a bit. He taunted.
Oh yeah. No, he did. He did the old,
On the first view, I didn't see that. So you've taunted, and then you get a push. Like, that's fair play in my eyes. You shouldn't be giving an extra goal.
I don't think an extra goal's warranted at all.
Yeah,
they should give it from the center. If anything.
But that slam. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But that put it slam shut on the comeback. Look, I feel like Hawks kicked the last 2 goals of the second quarter, so I guess that gives them some belief or some momentum into the third. But Port didn't play anywhere near that. It was like a completely different game the second half. They kind of just shut it down, and anytime a team shuts it down and the other team starts to attack, they find a way through. But it was just such a long way back. It was so unlikely. But yeah, you can score fast in football. I thought Sicily's second half was incredible. When he goes up forward, he always has an impact. There's just never a time he goes up forward and doesn't have an impact. Dunstan kicked 6 goals as well, which is insane.
How is he still doing this, man?
Yeah, no, it's insane. Look, I think it helps when you have Sicily sort of taking most of the contested mark duties. All of a sudden, it's like Dunstan's free for it. You know what I mean? He's free to, get to pop up and get those goals and get into the right positions, because Sicily, just the gravity on that guy on contests is insane.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think he should play more up forward. Scrimshaw comes back this week, gives maybe Sicily more freedom to be forward half.
Yeah, but he's so damaging in the defense as well. He's intercept marking and he's kicking. But I guess Josh Battle, I've noticed that they use him as a primary, ball distributor as well. Like he's taking kick-ins and they're looking for him as well.
He's got a big kick. He's got a big kick.
Yeah, so I guess they've got a little bit of a replacement there.
I think
just in him without Scrimshaw. So maybe it's the right move.
I think the challenge is just for Port to come out and play like that more often. And the Hawks, I wouldn't be too stressed about them, but it was good to kind of see them get shocked a bit.
Yeah, look, weirdly enough, I think it was who's the guy who's on 360? I can't remember his name. Who's the guy, the skinny guy?
Whaley.
Yeah. So he said before, he's like, oh, we're not sure who the baby face and who the heel is here. A little wrestling reference. So baby face being the good guy, heel being the bad guy. And honestly, I think the Hawks are the heels. Honestly, in this case, I do think they're the bad guys. Even though I don't like Port, we all don't like Port. But something about I enjoyed watching Port, which sounds insane, absolutely destroy the Hawks, because the Hawks, apart from we have a mate, Jimmy Drossos on, in the chat. He's a really, chill dude. But I feel like the rest of the Hawks supporters a little bit chirpy. You know what I mean? A little bit, He might be the only calm Hawthorn supporter that I know. You know what I mean? The rest,
Look,
I've said this, humble pie.
I've said this before, but if North had won the amount of premierships Hawthorn's won in my lifetime, I would be chirping way more than I hear Hawthorn fans chirping.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
I'll never know, I guess. But
I don't think the Hawks. I don't think the Hawks fans have been too bad, to be honest.
No, I don't know.
Look,
I think the media almost talks it up more than the Hawks fans do.
Look,
man.
Maybe it's because Hawthorn always pops up on my YouTube shorts, and I'm seeing all these videos of them being cocky and all the players being cocky.
That's what I'm saying. I think the narrative is being built.
The team is their players are cocky.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the players being cocky more than.
And I think Sam Mitchell wants it. He encourages it. So it's part of a lot of the game is mental, and if they've got the edge, even if it's manifested, it's why not roll with it? So
fair enough.
To answer your question, in this particular situation, given the Ken Hinkley thing last year, who's actually their face in the hill? I think.
Look, I think
the Plains the heel move.
Or
is it the face move?
I don't know. I feel like it's the heel move,
anyway,
bro. I feel like they're very. The Hawks have just. the Hock Tour stuff, all that stuff. I feel like we just, Hockball, Hockball.
It's pretty heel.
It is heel, bro. I reckon, too many catchphrases, bro. I'm kind of. They turned last year. They were definitely the baby faces, but I feel like they
did the heel turn.
Yeah, they've done the heel turn for me.
I think the Wizard and Ginnivan, they had no impact at all, and they're probably some of the more chirpy ones. So
you know what? There it is. That's a fair call. That's true.
they look. It's not like they got the supply, but they did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, true. They didn't. It's not like they. Usually they come up the ground and do something. You know what I mean? They'll come down the wing.
Well, they put Dylan Moore in the midfield but they didn't put the Wizard in there, and I would have liked to see the Wizard up the field a bit. But I mean, talk about a first half demolished. Like you say, you enjoyed watching Hawthorn get smashed, but I reckon if it wasn't your team, you'd like to, because it's such a rare event. No matter who that team is, it's exciting.
Yeah.
As long as you're not copying it. Like if that was Essendon 60-0 to Geelong or something, you'd be like, go Essendon, kill him. You know because it's so random, it's so insane. You're like, yeah, man, keep going.
It's primal. You know what I mean? It's a primal instinct.
It's a primal thing. Like how far can this get?
Yeah. And they're scoring so quickly, man.
Yeah,
and so direct as well. It's not like they chip. It was like contested ball, goal, kick it again, goal. Yeah. It was fascinating.
No, that's fun
100%.
stuff. Let's do a bit of tipping. I'll give a tipping update and read the names horribly like I always do. So still in first position, I believe, is Lana S. Skivo, her team name is.
Shout out Lana.
On 36, the Soul number 1.
Oh, wow.
In second, we've got a few on 35. I'll quickly rattle them off. We've still got Benny Horridge there. We've got Paul Curtis Taylor. We've got Mr. Incredible.
Shout out Mr. Incredible, man. That's my boy, Kai.
Yep. Armadale Demons. Fish and Crips. Daniel 7, and that's it. Bilbo Baggers has dropped off.
Hey, Bilbo, what are you doing, man?
What are you doing, Bilbo?
So it's heating up a bit. Let's go through the actual tips for the week.
Yeah.
So, first game, Thursday night at the Gabba. The Lions v the Pies.
That's always a good match.
Yeah, I'm going Brisbane because it's at the Gabba, to be honest. That's the thing that's swaying me, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm going Brisbane as well.
I'll go Brisbane, but by... Let's do a margin here. I'm going to go by 8 points.
Ooh, I'm going to go 18.
Okay.
I think it'll be close. But the Lions, let's see if they can play 3 quarters instead of 2 quarters.
Yeah, true. And they're going to need to play a full game against Collingwood to win.
I feel like the Pies aren't that bad at the Gabba. Is that? I don't know what the record is, but I feel like they're not bad there.
I think they've just been a good team in the last few years. Probably
wherever they go, they play well, man.
They go. Yeah. Friday.
Good Friday.
3:20, Marvel Stadium, North Melbourne v the Blues.
Carlton seems to be favourites.
Look, I'm going with North, mate, because how can we back Carlton? How can we back Carlton?
No, I'm not defending him.
How can you? Yeah, no, it goes both ways with this. Like, how could you back North?
Well, that's the thing.
You know what I mean?
But I'm a North supporter.
Of course.
If you want to talk a bit about the game, like I feel like North has scored a lot of scores from stoppages this year, and Carlton is traditionally a score from stoppage team as well. So the old saying "it starts in the middle" is going to be key, and also North is known to do a bit of a turnover, but so is Carlton. So it's almost like whoever does less of their dumb shit will win this game.
That's the best way to put it.
But I actually think that's generally like 2 good ruckmen, 2 solid contested midfields.
You say 2 good ruckmen, but it might be Sherry versus Pitnet.
Conning up forward.
Because you guys have no forwards, bro. Unless you're going to bring Lewis Young in.
No, they'll find a forward.
So play Lewis Young, you reckon, instead of
You don't need that many forwards, man.
Yeah, true.
Fair enough.
This is actually, though, the first time in years where we're playing Carlton without the Mackay.
I mean, we've got Moya as well. He's young, but he's not that tall, is he? He's not a key forward.
Like
he's a forward, yeah.
Medium-ish, medium-small, isn't he?
Oh, you don't need everyone to be 200 centimetres, man.
Yeah, but that's the way you guys play. You've been playing 3 tall forwards for the whole year, you know? It's like, when Mackay goes out, Lewis Young
we only play forwards because there's no small forwards to exist. I don't think it's a choice thing.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that goes, actually, because it might affect my Gorn versus Dacos in Supercoach.
Look, I don't want to see Pitnet come in, but
yeah,
he might.
But
what I was saying was this is the first time in a while where Mackay and Curnow both won't be fit. So it's only Curnow. And North finally has our key defenders. As, you know, you might not think the most of them, but at least they're fit and playing.
Yeah, true.
So
you're right. It's usually like a Mackay against like the most green.
Aidan Bonner, Callum Dawson. Yeah, no, it's been grim.
Yeah.
Literal VFL level defenders. So this is the first time we've actually got the fit guys in. George Wardlaw's back. I think what you said is true. Whoever does less of their dumb shit can win the game. So it should be hopefully a good one because Good Fridays haven't been friendly to us.
I think it'll be close. look, I'm not even. I don't really have an opinion. Like, I mean, you guys,
you're gonna leave it untipped.
you guys always tip North because you guys just do that. I think a bit more of a realistic supporter than you guys, but I don't know. I might go North.
Wow.
Oh,
Really?
there it is.
We've done nothing, man. We've been the Eagles, who are the worst team in history.
I know, but like to not tip against North, like you struggle to tip North at the best of times.
That's true.
Yeah, I do, but
I'm stunned by this news.
You're not stunned.
This is mind games. I'm tipping Carlton.
you're not stunned. You are not stunned, man.
The
Let's
mind
not pretend
bizarro
like
world. What
it's
is
not
this?
like pretend like Carlton's
This is
been good,
reverse
man.
psychology. No,
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
changing my tip to Carlton.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll see what happens, man. It'll be an interesting game, but I wouldn't be surprised if we lose this one.
Bombers. Interesting. Yeah, fair enough. Bombers v Eagles.
It's at Optus.
I'm seeing here 7% of people have tipped West Coast. There must be 7% of people playing this game that are West Coast fans.
100%.
What are you
bro.
doing?
Maybe maybe they're thinking if the West Coast are going to win a game, it's going to be at Optus. Maybe we'll go Essendon. Maybe
Oh,
we'll-
don't get me wrong. I would love it.
Oh,
Yeah,
it'd be
same,
amazing.
but it's
It'd
not
be
gonna
incredible.
Yeah.
No, it
All
won't.
right, next game, Melbourne v Freo. Look,
For you.
like I said, Freo got the easy kill. Confidence is up now. A couple wins in a row. Melbourne's in trouble.
100%.
Melbourne is at serious risk of what? The statistics will be 0-6.
And wasn't it last year where Freo did the Barcelona call that Matza gave?
Yeah.
And they annihilated Melbourne in Cairns or something?
Yeah, they did tiki-taka. They
Tiki
played-
Taka,
they-
yeah,
they-
the Freo
yeah,
Salona.
which they don't do anymore. Freo, they've gone away from tiki-taka.
Maybe they'll bring it back.
They've gone a little bit, like how I'd say they've gone a little bit like a Jurgen
Bit
Klopp
more
style. You know what I mean? They've gone a
pragmatic.
bit, what do they call it? Jurgen pressing, a little bit of
Heavy
metal football.
heavy metal.
heavy metal football from Freo,
Jeez.
which suits because they have the electric guitar guy, don't they? They do the electric guitar guy, I'm pretty sure.
It's a Freo, yeah.
Yeah,
Is it?
so heavy metal Freo. You
no,
heard it here first.
They can get ugly for Melbourne.
Yeah.
Melbourne's got Richmond next round after.
Oh, it's gonna be
So
such
that-
a bad
Richmond will be
game.
licking their lips if they
Yeah.
if Melbourne
Imagine-
loses again.
Imagine Melbourne goes. I mean, we've already tipped them against Dockers.
But
so-
at least Richmond, we'll get to that next week. At least Richmond shows a bit of swagger, as bad
Yeah.
as they are.
Yeah.
There's a bit of something there.
they'll be coming for that game.
Yeah, they're aggressive coming out of the defensive 50. You know, they got a little bit of
anyway,
yeah.
We'll see.
All right, so Adelaide versus GWS.
Oh, this is a hard one.
That is.
I'm
that
going
is hard.
Giants, man.
I'm with you.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you too.
Yeah, like even though it's funny because Adelaide have the better odds here, but I think
'Cause they're at
GWS.
home.
Yeah, but Adelaide, they just lost at home to
Well, look,
you know, like
the Giants do have the taller defenders to somewhat cope with what Adelaide provides, and I think I don't know if I trust Adelaide in the flip side of that.
yeah,
As good as I do find their defenders underrated, but man, Hogan, Green, there's some serious firepower. The Stringer hasn't really had that statement game yet. Could be this one. You don't know.
yeah, that's fair.
We'll see.
Next game, Richmond versus Gold Coast.
Yeah, Sunnies.
Yeah. Next one, Sydney versus Port.
Doesn't Port have the stat that they've won so many of the last games against Sydney? And we talked about how Port Adelaide dismantled Sydney last year.
Yeah, let's go Port.
0-70.
Let's go Port.
Do you reckon Port can back up a crazy performance?
Why not?
I want to find.
I want to find that stat.
For previous games. I can't see anything on the.
I swear, like they've
More
got them by the
stats.
balls. Port Adelaide.
Got them by the balls. There we go.
It should have the one-on-one, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I know. Where's it? AFL app sucks. Anyway, I'll go with. I think I'm gonna go.
Oh, previous meetings.
Yeah. What's it look like?
Sydney has beaten Port Adelaide.
I'm going with Sydney.
Was it the other way around?
That was in September, 20 September. That was finals. Was that finals?
Oh yeah, the prelim.
Yeah. Look, I'm going Sydney anyway. Who are you going, Dana?
I'm gonna go Port.
Oh, okay.
So
Fair
Port. So Port had won the last 4 games,
Yeah.
and then Sydney won it in the final.
So they win when it matters. You know what I mean? Like I think I'm gonna go. Look, I'll probably go depending on what's more of a pod pick on that one for the tips.
I
You
like
know what
Port
I mean?
Adelaide, man.
Fair enough. Yeah. No,
Well, Port's the
I
pod
love
tip because they're 16% on the app here.
16%. Oh, then I'll go Port.
Yeah,
then
yeah.
as well.
Port's the pod tip.
Because I don't have the app open.
Yeah.
Then we've got Bulldogs versus the
This
Saints.
is a good one.
That is a
At Marvel.
look.
Sainers, man.
If Bounce back, I'll go Bulldogs.
Mm.
If Bounce back, but if not, then I'm happy to go Saints as well because they're a good football side at the minute, and I don't know how the Dogs going to stop Naz and Sinclair and
McRae revenge game.
Oh, but you know what? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go Dogs. I'm changing that because I feel like Darcy is like 10 centimeters taller than any St Kilda defender, and I think that matters. To be honest with you, I think that matters. They don't have anyone to stop that guy, so I'm gonna go with Bulldogs. I've changed my mind.
So, man, I actually don't know with this game because Saints, if they're on
Yeah.
and the defensive structure's sound, I don't know if the Dogs can play through that as well as they do, say, a couple other weaker opposition. But then the Darcy effect, yeah, he's a video. I don't know.
He's
I
a
like
video,
Saints.
man.
I'm going Saints just for. I think it's fun. I'm going Saints.
I'll go. Oh, you know what? Respect the Saints. They've been good. I'll go Saints.
Oh.
They were good last week. I'll
Fair
go
enough.
Saints.
And then the big one, Geelong versus Hawthorn. Another big mate. Hawthorn can't help but just walk into a rivalry, bro. Essendon,
They're starting
Geelong,
fights with everybody.
Port. I
Every
know,
week's a rivalry.
legit.
No one likes the Hawks.
They're that.
apparently.
See, they're that dude at the bar who chats away and starts fights.
They're that guy at futsal that's just there for the fight.
Exactly right,
Yeah.
bro. They are the guy at futsal. And it's usually Lebos, to be fair. Anyway, Geelong versus Hawthorn. We're gonna go.
I'm gonna go Hawks.
I'm gonna go Geelong.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Geelong as well. I'd like to see Hawthorn lose 2 in a row for some reason.
I'm gonna-
I don't know why I'm a hater on the Hawks. I'm a Hawks hater.
Tall
you know?
Poppy, man. Tall Poppy.
Tall Poppy
I just
syndrome,
think for me, the Hawks, after what happened, there is no way they come out and don't start the better team. Now, I think it'll be a seesawing affair, to be honest.
But I feel like Geelong's kind of prepared for that. They're a pretty smart team.
yeah, I know, but look what happened this week. For me, I think, I don't know. I think the Hawks just simply will get so fired up, they'll start strong. And it'll be a very close game. Like, I'm calling under a goal.
Yeah.
Type
I
one.
hope so.
Yeah.
Easter Monday clash.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be forecast raining right now. So that's another spanner in the works.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't rain, man. It ruins football.
Yeah.
It does, especially a big game like that. But anyway, I think we'll move on. I feel like the pod's gone for like an hour and a half.
Is that it? Yeah, that's cool.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It feels like it's been going for a while. But anyway, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
Talk on the next one.
See you later.